Hi, Israel Allen here, Director of Education for PTA Global. Again, thanks for joining us for Coach's Corner, where we are focusing specifically on gaining clients on this episode. So let's jump right in. Again, we've always got three categories that we're looking at from your gym, from your clients, and from your community. So today we're really going to be focusing on the from your gym. So the funnel here is going to be specifically orientations. Okay, so this may be people that you've booked on the floor, people that have been booked for you if you're in kind of a larger gym environment. Many times this is booked in sales and then set with you in kind of an initial trial session or orientation. And there's some really important pieces that go into that. One being the introduction, making sure that you pre-qualify, you ask the right questions, you build rapport, you build value. The second being kind of the warm-up piece where, again, you're getting soft tissue moving, you're getting blood flowing, getting their juices going, right? Again, building rapport, building rapport. The next piece going through the workout. The piece that we're really going to talk about is the transition after you get done with the workout, assuming the workout was fantastic, right? Now there's kind of a, oh, what do I do moment, right? And most trainers typically don't do well with that transition from floor to desk because it goes from free to fee, right? So now we have to start talking about things that kind of lead into price. So our first transition is going to be from the floor to the desk. What does that sound like? What should that feel like? Then once we kind of recap some things at the desk, the second transition we're going to focus on is the transition from recap to pricing. Okay, so desk to pricing is going to be the second one. So again, both of those transitions are really important pieces. They help connect the dots in each of the pieces of that orientation to make sure that it's fluid and it's smooth. So let's take just a quick look at transition from floor to desk. So notice here, transition number one, just a quick example, right? Great job today, right? So affirmation, energy, engagement. I'd like to take just a few minutes and sit down and recap what we covered today, see how we can use this information to build a successful fitness plan for you. Sound good? So again, we're not talking about, hey, let's go out and look at our pricing, or hey, let's go back and see which PT program is going to work for you, right? We don't want to upregulate fear, anxiety. We don't want to trigger any negative emotions for them. So we're going to keep it real fluid. Second, again, you're going to see a positive affirmation. Great job today. High five, emotional connection. What was your favorite part of the session today? So again, we're asking for feedback, getting them to think of the things that were best about that session. Was there anything that we didn't do that maybe you would wanted to see more of? So again, you're doing essentially a version of the Kaizen here, right? So anything that we didn't get a chance to do today that maybe you want to do more in the future, right? And so now let's write down a few things that we covered, see how we can use this to build a successful fitness plan for you, right? So very similar, but in this case, you're getting a little bit of feedback from that. The last one here, again, it's cut off just a little bit, but again, great job today. My number one goal is to see you reach the goals that you mentioned and have a positive impact in your life and the lives of people that you care about. If it's okay, I'd like us to sit down and see how we can accomplish these goals together. Sound good? So again, just a different version. What you need to do is you need to take it and make it your own, but there's some different pieces of this as we dissect it. Okay, so one, you're going to see always start with a positive affirmation. Great job, high five, super proud of you. I really like when you did this, whatever it was, right? So again, that feel good moment. The next is a segue to, here's what we accomplished essentially, or what did you like most, right? Some sort of theme around that. And then, great, let's take a couple of minutes, have a seat, and then let's recap some of the things that we talked about, figure out how we put this in a program for you. Right, super simple, nonchalant. Again, it needs to be comfortable for you, because if it's not going to be comfortable for you, it's not going to be comfortable for them. Okay, so again, practice, practice, practice until we make progress, and then progress until we perfect it, right? Once you're at the desk, you're going to have some version of recap. Okay, so before you actually sit down at the desk and go through pricing, again, listen up. Okay, you're not going to sit down at the desk and open up your pricing laminate because you just went from, hey, we just started having dinner, to, hey, your place or mine, right? That's pretty abrupt, and more importantly, you're going to break trust. Okay, so there needs to be a segue and a permission statement, and we'll talk about that here in a second. But before that, we need to recap the things that were most important to them, right? So we recap their goals, we recap their preferences as far as the style of movement, let them know that they can expect that same level of individuality in each session. Get a time commitment from them as well. That's really important. That way they already kind of see themselves working with you. Level, we need to figure out, in this case, this is their level of confidence, right? Their level of confidence in nutrition, strength, and cardio. Those are kind of the three kind of main categories as far as confidence scale. So we get those categories, and then that lets us know where they might need us most, right? And then we can kind of map that out for them, like what it's going to take to get to their goal type deal. So that's usually kind of a mock periodization, like, hey, I'd love to work together. About 12 weeks is what we need to go through each of the phases, like however you spin it. But that's usually where you're gonna recap kind of here's what it's gonna take to get you to your goal. So there's very specifics in there. So there's a lot of specifics. And the last piece is you're basically recapping their why. You're recapping their motivation, recapping their commitment, and they need to be, I'm gonna reinforce this, they need to be a 9 to 10 on their willingness, right, to make a change today or their commitment to the goal. If they're not, then what's happened is you haven't really built enough value, you haven't really pre-qualified, and so then that's usually going to lead them into, if they have a lower commitment, it's only going to get lower once you present price, right? So we need to make sure, again, they're 9 to 10. That tells us that we've done a pretty good job. We've done our end of the bargain, and now we can kind of start walking into pricing. Okay, so again, this is our PTA Global Sales Presentation Tool. You can find out a lot more about this tool and other sales tools in our our Solutions and Selling live workshops. You can also find out more about these in our brand new CPT, where we've added a lot of sales role play. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this tool because it's really a concentration and focus on the transition from, again, the floor to the desk, recap very quickly some of the things that you talked about, build the value, gain the commitment, and then now it's transition number 2. So again, now that they're at 9 to 10, great. Hearing how motivated you are and knowing that the times we've mapped out will work great for both of our schedules. Again, we've already pre-qualified that, right? I believe it would be a great fit to work together. What I'd like to do now is simply walk through how many sessions we need to invest in today to help you reach your goal. Sound good? So now that's a soft way of saying, hey, we're going to talk about money, right? So it's really important for us as we kind of go through this to, again, we're soft selling, we're hard selling, we're transitioning into more what can be, challenging or muddy waters when you get to pricing, because there's always going to be a resistance to change of behavior, and there's always going to be a resistance to commitment, right? To really actually having to commit with your wallet on something. So know that going into it. Second option here is, again, great. Hearing you tell me where you need the most help at this time around. Again, that might be, they said, hey, on a nutrition scale of 1 to 10, I'm at a 2. Okay, great. So now that I know that we're really going to need to focus more on nutrition, right? I like to put our heads together, figure out the right program that's going to fit your specific needs, schedule, and budget. Again, your specific needs, your specific schedule, and your budget. Sound like a plan? Again, you're just opening up the conversation, right? These are permission statements before we go into pricing. So permission before pricing. Just remember that, permission before pricing, okay? Next one here, great. Now that I know the areas that you feel most confident in, but also the areas where you need to and want to improve confidence, I'd like to take a moment and see how we can tackle these areas together, all right? And see what that investment might look like. So something like that. The last one here, again, great. My number one goal is to see you reach these goals, have an impact in your life and the lives of the people that you mentioned. I'd like to look at the best program for your success and make a commitment together today. Okay, so again, a little bit of wordsmithing there, but again, the goal is the same. Positive affirmations, identifying very specific things that they said or specific things that they wanted, and then if I could, would you? Remember that statement. If I could, would you? That's a permission statement. If I could find a program that meets your needs, your goals, everything you said you wanted, would you want to hear more about that? Not, would you want to commit today, or hey, are you going to buy something today, right? Would you want to hear more about it? We're just walking the walk, right? Do you want to walk a little further? Okay, so hopefully those transitions help our floor to desk and also desk to pricing. So again, thanks once again. Hopefully this will help you. Again, let us know. Give us your comments below. Let us know how these Coaches Corners are helping you build your business, inspire your team, and strive more to do more, be more, and inspire other people to do the same. So thanks again. Out, and we'll see you next time.